Imagine you're standing at the edge of a cliff at twilight, staring down into a deep valley completely filled with fog. You know that if you take just one more step, you'll enter a place you might never return from. The world around you is quiet, almost too quiet. You can't tell if that mist hides a soft, gentle landing or a terrifying, violent drop. That feeling of profound uncertainty is exactly where modern physics is today when we ask a simple question: what really happens at the edge of a black hole? Is that boundary, the event horizon, a peaceful, uneventful passage into the unknown? Or is it hiding a deadly wall of high-energy fire that instantly incinerates anything that dares to cross it? This is the heart of the Firewall Paradox, one of the most intense and fascinating debates in science, born from the epic collision between quantum mechanics and gravity. Tonight, we're stepping off that cliff of ideas. Welcome to Beyond Newton. To really get what this argument is all about, let's start with Einstein's theory of general relativity. In this classical picture, the event horizon of a black hole is deceptively boring. Seriously, if you were an astronaut falling into a supermassive black hole, 1 millions of times the mass of our sun, you wouldn't feel anything strange as you crossed the horizon. No sudden jolt, no flash of light, no cosmic explosion, nothing. Einstein's equivalence principle, a cornerstone of his theory, says that when you're in freefall, the laws of physics should feel completely normal. So, crossing the event horizon should feel just like floating through empty space, smooth, harmless, ordinary. But that's the classical story. The moment you introduce quantum mechanics into the picture, things start to get weird. Back in the 1970s, the legendary Stephen Hawking made a groundbreaking discovery. Black holes aren't truly black. He realized that the vacuum of space near the event horizon is actually a boiling, fizzing sea of quantum fluctuations. Pairs of virtual particles are constantly popping into and out of existence. Hawking showed that sometimes, one particle from a pair falls into the black hole while its partner escapes. This escaping particle becomes real radiation, now famously known as Hawking radiation. This means the black hole isn't just sitting there, it's slowly leaking energy and mass, gradually evaporating over an unimaginably long time. But here's the problem. This Hawking radiation is thermal, which is a fancy way of saying it's random and carries almost no information about what created it. So if a black hole swallows an encyclopedia, and then evaporates completely, where does the information in that encyclopedia go? Quantum mechanics has a strict rule: information can never be destroyed. It has to be conserved. Hawking's initial calculations suggested that the information just vanishes forever, creating what we call the black hole information paradox. For decades, this was a massive headache for physicists. Most came to believe that the information must somehow be encoded in the outgoing radiation, but no one could figure out how. Then, in 2012, four physicists Somhiri Marolth-Polchinski and Sully turned this long-simmering puzzle into a full-blown crisis. Their argument, now known as the Amps paradox, sharpened the information problem into a violent, shocking conclusion. They pointed out that for the information to be saved, the Hawking radiation emitted late in the black hole's life must be intricately connected, or correlated, with the radiation that was emitted much earlier. In the language of quantum mechanics, this deep connection is called entanglement. Now, let's go back to that particle pair at the horizon. We have a particle, let's call it B, that escapes as Hawking radiation. In the standard picture, B is entangled with its partner, particle A, which fell behind the horizon. But, if the information is to be preserved, particle B must also be entangled with all the radiation that escaped before it, which we'll call R, and this is where quantum mechanics delivers a knockout punch. Entanglement is monogamous. A quantum system can't be maximally entangled with two different, independent systems at the same time. It's like saying you can't be in two exclusive relationships at once. Something has to give. Particle B cannot be fully entangled with its partner A inside the black hole. Asterisk and asterisk with the early radiation are outside. So, the Amps team asked, which connection breaks? They argued that if information is truly saved, which most physicists believe it must be, then the entanglement between the escaping particle B and its partner A inside the black hole must be destroyed. But breaking that bond isn't a gentle process. It would release an enormous amount of energy right at the event horizon. The consequence, the smooth, empty space that Einstein predicted, simply cannot exist there. Instead, the event horizon must be a violently energetic region, a scorching high-energy boundary, a firewall, not a gentle passage, but a sheet of destructive radiation that would instantly vaporize anything falling in. This is a direct assault on Einstein's equivalence principle, a wall of quantum fire waiting at the edge of spacetime. This idea landed in the physics community like a grenade. On one hand, a firewall feels completely wrong. It tears up one of the most beautiful and fundamental principles of relativity. On the other hand, the math behind it seemed airtight. The community fractured. Some physicists said, fine, maybe the equivalence principle does fail at the event horizon. Others fought back, insisting that something else in the argument must be wrong. Perhaps our understanding of locality, the idea that things can only be affected by their immediate surroundings, breaks down at the quantum gravity scale. Maybe the interior of the black hole isn't truly separate from the radiation outside. Perhaps the very concepts of inside and outside aren't as fundamental as we think they are. The firewall paradox forces us to confront the deepest cracks in our understanding of the universe. It's a battle between our two greatest theories, general relativity and quantum mechanics, playing out on the most extreme stage imaginable. Solving it won't just tell us what happens at the edge of a black hole. It could unlock the secrets to a unified theory of quantum gravity, the holy grail of modern physics. The quiet, foggy cliff has turned into a raging battlefield of ideas, and right now, the outcome is anyone's guess. Thanks for joining us on this journey into the firewall paradox. What happens when you fall into a black hole? For decades, the answer from Einstein's theory of relativity seemed simple. You'd slip across the event horizon without even noticing, before being gently stretched into spaghetti, a calm, quiet passage into oblivion. But in 2012, for physicists Harry Marolf, Paul Chinsky, and Sully, Aura Empes for short, threw a match into this peaceful picture. They presented a paradox so sharp it threatened to burn down everything we thought we knew about space, time, and reality itself. They argued that if information truly escapes a black hole, as quantum mechanics demands, then the event horizon can't be a calm, empty place. It must be a wall of fire, a deadly inferno of high-energy particles that would incinerate anything that touches it. This is the firewall paradox, and it's one of the deepest puzzles in modern physics. To understand the fire, we need to rewind a bit. Back in the 1970s, Stephen Hawking discovered that black holes aren't completely black. They slowly leak radiation, now called Hawking radiation. This radiation carries energy away, causing the black hole to shrink and eventually evaporate completely. But this raised a terrifying question. What happens to the information of everything that fell in? Quantum mechanics has a sacred rule: information can never be destroyed. It can be scrambled, hidden, or rearranged, but it must always be recoverable. If a black hole evaporates and the information inside is lost forever, then quantum mechanics is wrong. This is the black hole information paradox. For a long time, physicists hoped the information was somehow encoded in the outgoing Hawking radiation. The idea was that the radiation wasn't random noise. It was a scrambled message, containing all the details of the books, stars, and astronauts that the black hole had swallowed. If you could collect every single particle of radiation and perform an impossibly complex calculation, you could reconstruct the original information. The black hole would act like a cosmic hard drive that gets erased by being slowly read. But the Amps paradox showed that this seemingly neat solution has a violent consequence. Here's the core of their argument, and it's a brilliant piece of logic. Imagine a particle of Hawking radiation just outside the black hole. For the information to escape, this particle must be quantumically entangled with all the radiation that has already left. Think of entanglement as a deep, invisible connection. If you know something about one particle, you instantly know something about its entangled partner, no matter how far apart they are. So, our outgoing particle is entangled with the distant radiation, but there's another rule. For the event horizon to be a smooth, empty place, as Einstein predicted, that same outgoing particle must also be entangled with a partner particle just inside the horizon. And here's the bombshell. A fundamental principle of quantum mechanics, called the monogamy of entanglement, says a single particle can't be fully entangled with two separate things at the same time. It's like trying to be married to two different people. Quantum law forbids it. So, we have a choice. Either the particle is entangled with the radiation outside, meaning information escapes but the link across the horizon is broken, or it's entangled with its partner inside, meaning the horizon is smooth, but the information is trapped and ultimately destroyed. You can't have both. Breaking the entanglement across the horizon isn't just a mathematical quirk. It means that the connection between inside and outside is violently severed. This severance unleashes a tremendous amount of energy right at the horizon, creating a wall of fire. So, If you fell toward an old black hole, you wouldn't glide through. According to the AMP's argument, you would slam into a blazing barrier and be vaporized instantly. This idea horrified physicists. A firewall would violate Einstein's equivalence principle, the very foundation of general relativity, which states that the laws of physics should be the same everywhere, and that falling freely should feel like floating in empty space. A fiery wall at the horizon is anything but empty space. So the paradox pits our two greatest theories against each other. Quantum mechanics says information must escape, which implies a firewall. General relativity says the horizon must be smooth, which implies information is lost. Something has to give. In the years since, physicists have been scrambling to find a way out of this contradiction, and their ideas are pushing the boundaries of what we consider real. Some propose that the black hole interior doesn't exist in the way we think. One idea is the fuzzball model from string theory. In this picture, a black hole isn't empty space with a singularity at the center. It's a messy, tangled ball of fundamental strings. There is no horizon and no interior. The black hole is a solid, fuzzy object all the way through. If you fell onto a fuzzball, you wouldn't pass through a horizon. You'd hit the stringy surface. The information of what you were made of would get mixed into the fuzzball's vibrations, and then slowly re-radiated away. No firewall, no information loss. But this would mean replacing Einstein's beautiful, simple picture of spacetime with something much more complex. Another, even more radical idea, comes from holography. The holographic principle suggests that our three-dimensional universe, including gravity and spacetime, might be a projection, a hologram of quantum information living on a distant two-dimensional surface. In this view, spacetime itself is not fundamental. It's built from the entanglement of quantum bits. The interior of the black hole might literally be woven from the entanglement between the radiation particles, so when a particle of radiation leaves, it doesn't just carry information. Its entanglement with the remaining particles helps construct the geometry of the black hole's interior. Change the entanglement, and you change the spacetime. The AMP's paradox might be telling us that the very fabric of space is an emergent property of quantum information. Recently, there have been breakthroughs that seem to support this informational view, using new mathematical tools called replica wormholes and the island rule. Physicists have been able to calculate how information gets out of a black hole in certain toy models, and their calculations show that the information is perfectly preserved, exactly as quantum mechanics requires. This is a massive step forward. It strongly suggests that information does escape, and the paradox can be resolved. But there's a catch. These calculations tell us that the information gets out, but they don't tell us how they are silent on the experience of the astronaut falling in. The math says information is preserved, but it doesn't say if the horizon is smooth or fiery. So where does that leave us? If you were to pilot your spacecraft toward a black hole today, what would you feel? The honest answer is, we don't know. The firewall paradox has forced us to confront the possibility that reality is far stranger than we imagined. Perhaps inside and outside are not absolute. Maybe the universe is observer-dependent in a way we've never accepted. For you, falling in the horizon is smooth and the interior is real. But for someone watching from the outside, you are thermalized at the horizon and your information is radiated away. Maybe both descriptions are true, depending on who's asking. This would mean that there isn't a single, objective reality, but multiple, consistent realities for different observers. The firewall paradox isn't just about burning astronauts, it's a deep question about the nature of reality. Is spacetime the fundamental stage on which the universe plays out, or is it an illusion woven from threads of quantum entanglement? The paradox is like a loose thread on that tapestry, begging us to pull it and see what unravels. Every time physics has faced such a stark contradiction, it has led to a revolution. Newton's gravity, Einstein's relativity, quantum mechanics, they all emerged from paradoxes that forced us to abandon old certainties. The firewall is our generation's paradox. It's a sign that we are touching the edge of our knowledge, where gravity and the quantum world collide. The resolution, whatever it may be, will undoubtedly change our understanding of space, time, and information forever. The edge of a black hole remains the ultimate frontier, a place where our theories whisper to different truths, and invite us to discover a deeper one. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey to the edge of reality, be sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the cosmos.